Welcome to a special news and nonsense report. We are wrapping up the year 2013, and we got all kinds of really interesting stuff to talk about. How was your 2013? How was your holiday, Toss?
NSA, everybody loves Spatry's NSA. Oh, wait a minute, that's you.
I never thought I'd get you to sing on the show.
Yes, well, it is the holiday, so some holiday jingles were in order, right?
Yeah, did you get any tech stuff for the holidays this year?
Well, I bought myself a couple little things, not really high-tech. I bought myself a cordless shaver, a Bluetooth dongle. Didn't really buy anything I really needed, just like a few things I wanted, but that's about it.
And is the shaver stable or horse stable, and does it have the health meter on it that goes with the smartwatch?
No, there is no app yet for the Remington shaver and the smartwatch. Maybe next year.
Why don't you say hi to our guests?
We have this evening Iron Claw, Matthew Moore, of course, Spatry, Tom Prokes, and myself, Toss Today.
Yeah, and geez, Toss, we covered a lot of stuff last year in the news, well, let's first cover some of the highlights this year that happened, and you can share some of your favorite highlights. Remember the Linux and Space episode?
Why don't you fill me in?
Come on, you're the one that came up with the news article. Yeah, well, obviously, we announced that Linux is being used in the space stations now. What else has happened? Ubuntu forums got hacked, and obviously now they've beefed up security and that sort of thing. Yeah. Google added 79 open source patents to a lawsuit-free pledge. Great for you developers out there who want to be able to bring new innovations and not worry about having to pay the Microsoft or the Apple tax. Then, of course, in the beginning of the year, we got a Steam client. And then within a few months, all the Linux distributions had the Steam client. And then within the same year, then we get Steam OS.
I think probably that one of the biggest Linux news had to be the failure and success of the Ubuntu phone on the Indiegogo project.
Yes.
Right, but here's the catch. It failed because 30 days to raise $32 million was just too much. But I picked up some news a couple weeks ago that, according to Mark Shuttleworth, the head at Ubuntu, apparently starting next year, major cell phone manufacturers are interested in the Ubuntu Touch OS. So there you go. The Ubuntu phone lives.
Cool deal. And the thing is, I was speaking earlier. Now, interestingly enough, the next LTS release of Ubuntu is still going to have X instead of Mir. Apparently it's not quite ready yet, but they are still going to be using it on the phone. So it'll be interesting to see how things develop, definitely.
X works, so I'll take it.
Absolutely. Any other news highlights from this year?
Well, let's see. Of course, we joked about some of the most unusual apps for smartphones. I think probably the worst app. You remember that one app where the app, you had to throw your phone as high as you could into the air? And
yes, I remember that one. What was that called?
Send Me to Heaven.
What was that other one? Well, maybe we shouldn't go there, but there was another one that had to do with that.
We can say the name, but don't say anything else. It was the smartphone vibrator app, right?
No, well, it had to do something with, geez, how do we do this and keep it clean?
Try.
Maybe we ought to skip that one.
Okay, never mind.
All right, well, we got to have a look at several distributions over the past year. And I know I have my list of favorites, and Toss has his list of favorites. But I invited a few friends to join us on the panel to tell us what some of their favorites were. We'll start with you, Ironclaw. What were some of your favorite distributions, and why?
The one I'm using right now is OpenSUSE 13.1, and it's been nothing short of excellent as far as I'm concerned. And, that's been one of my longtime favorite distributions anyhow. Of course, I took a look at the Ubuntu releases as they came out and was pleasantly surprised at the most recent one, as the performance was very, very good. I used Linux Lite for quite a few months and was pretty happy with it too, although I did end up heavily modifying it to suit my tastes.
All right, good stuff. Matthew, what were some of your favorites this year?
Well, over the last year, I've tried a bunch of them. And out of the ones that I tried, I ended up landing on Manjaro as my number one distro, but there was a lot of other ones that I was really interested in seeing what they were going to go. Linux Mint being one of them with their innovations with the Cinnamon desktop. Cinnamon is still very young right now, but I think it's got a lot of potential, and I'm really following that closely because I think it's going to go somewhere. Ubuntu's been pretty interesting. The release of the latest Rosa distro, I think they have a really interesting implementation of KDE there. But yeah, it's been an interesting year.
Tom, how about you?
Hello, everybody. The year I've tried multiple distros. I have 4 computers. Actually, I have 3 now. But I have a netbook and a laptop and a desktop, and they all respond differently to different Linux operating systems. Ubuntu on my desktop was a complete failure. Error after error after error. It was a beautiful design, but I got errors constantly. I was using the Linux 16 release candidate prior to my installation of the final cut, and it was running great before the final. I've been using this distro now, I don't know, since its release date, I believe. And I've tried many things. Elementary OS runs wonderful on my laptop. I've had no errors whatsoever. Those 2 distros are pretty stable. If I use the one for more or less the elementary for basic computer stuff. I don't watch video with it. It's just a workhorse for me, and it runs wonderfully. I've tried Manjaro. A little too more techy for me than I really care for, but that's me. That's what I found. Like I said, I had problems with Ubuntu on 2 different machines, and I had to let it go. But it was a beautiful setup. I just wish it would work for me.
And just for clarification, you were speaking about Mint 16, is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
All right, cool deal. Toss, tell us about some of your favorite distros from 2013.
Well, with my newbies channel, I have to say that the team at Linux Mint continues to impress me. And my favorite Linux distribution for this year, my personal favorite for newbies, it has to be probably Linux Mint, the Mate edition. I've always liked the Mate menu or the Mint menu. It's back. It's extremely user-friendly. It gives users the old GNOME 2 look or a modified GNOME 2 look. I like Linux Mint XFCE. Cinnamon continues to grow on me. I tested the latest Linux Mint KDE. Just about anything that Linux Mint puts out seems to be top-notch.
Good stuff. And, I've heard a lot of really good things. I have to agree. Mint 16, absolutely spectacular. I loved it. I thought it was really, really good. But let me share with you my list of favorites for a Debian-based distribution. My pick on that one is Solid XK. Both Solid X and the Solid K versions. Solid, stable, very nice, well thought out distributions. For an Ubuntu-based distribution, I went with Linux Lite. I thought, and I like Linux Lite simply because of its simplicity. It's very easy for newcomers to pick up. It's very well documented. I really liked it, and I ran it for some time myself. My favorite lightweight distribution is WattOS. For multimedia, my recommendation is AV Linux 6.01 Dozer. My favorite RPM-based distro, of course, was already mentioned earlier, OpenSUSE, but I would like to give honorable mention to PC Linux OS, the Full Monty. I thought that was a really nice distro as well. And then, of course, my favorite distribution, everybody knows, based on Arch Linux, I have to go with Manjaro on this one. Every release just keeps getting better and better. Full, solid, rock-solid distro. And, this is still a beta, kids, and it's still, just keeps delivering, and I'm just excited to see all the good things that this is going to be bringing to the table. Okay, well, I suppose we can move on, Toss, to some distros that we liked the least. We'll start with you, Toss. What distros did you like the least out of 2013?
Well, I have to be completely honest. This year, there weren't too many, or I really can't single out one that I can say, oh my God, why is this out? I think you had probably one or two. The one this year that I tried, that the latest edition, I think it was Pear OS. It really wasn't that bad, but it wasn't quite up to snuff. I think you said the fruit that fell out of the tree or something.
Yeah. I really, and it's really funny because I didn't even want to review that distribution at all, but I had a lot of people ask me over and over and over again, oh, you got to look at this. It's gotten better and that sort of thing. And in some ways it did get better, but in other ways it just had that stink that just continued to linger,
Well, the previous version, the previous version I tested wasn't that bad, but I don't know. I just think this is one of those cases where, there are just too many freaking choices sometimes, and they're not all good.
Absolutely. We'll go with you next, Tom. What was the distribution that you liked the least?
Bodhi Linux sucked. Pear OS, I kind of liked it. It would not use the RAM I had. No matter what, I couldn't push the RAM over 500 megs. I've got 6 gigs in my laptop, and it just would never use them. It had a lot of issues. The worst, I hate Puppy Linux. Anything of Puppy Linux is I don't know what they're thinking. It's not user friendly. But yeah, I've tried some Puppy. I actually tried Firefox OS, I think it is, or Linux Firefox or something like that, where it's actually like Chrome OS, but it's Firefox. But the thing is, to get yourself on your Wi-Fi, you've got to be a damn engineer to figure out. You have to have everything about your MAC address, your everything, DNS. And I didn't have the information, so I had to skip it. I thought it would be great for my mother-in-law. She's got an old 98 computer, and she's running Windows on it, XP, and I wanted to see if I could just cheaply put her on that because that's all she needs it for. But I couldn't get it to work.
Uh-oh. Matthew!
Well, I don't know if I would say I dislike any particular distribution because I'm a software junkie, but if I had to pick one to be the biggest disappointment, I think I'd go with Deepin Linux. I love the Deepin Software Center. I had the Deepin music player and media player on my Linux Lite machine when I was running that. And when I looked at screenshots of the Deepin Linux distro, aside from the default wallpapers, of course, the rest of it looked pretty nice. But when I actually ran it, it was one of the slowest, most just sluggish, buggiest systems I've picked up all year, I think.
Iron Claw, any distros you tried out this year that you didn't like?
Well, I don't really want to, denigrate someone's work, so I don't really like to badmouth them. I'd say probably the one I liked the least, I'd have to agree with Pear OS. It was, it didn't work particularly well in a virtual machine, and then it actually seemed to work a little bit worse on actual hardware.
Yeah, and I would have to agree. Pear OS was disappointing, even though it did bring a few improvements, not enough to, change, that one. And I really didn't care for Linux Deepin. I have to agree that it was slow. It was, it misbehaved. Another distro that I felt was a little disappointing was Snow Linux Frosty. And then another one, but the thing is, I couldn't give it a hall of shame because a lot of hard work went into it, and a lot of people had been expecting it. Maybe I just had too high expectations. I thought, that Jupiter, that Elementary OS Jupiter was amazing. Elementary Nautilus and all these really cool features it had. I was really hoping to see all of that come to the newest release of Elementary OS, and so I was kind of disappointed by that. But but I could see that a lot of hard work went into it, though, and it has lots of room for great potential and improvements. So I can't say that I dislike it, but I was just kind of disappointed when I saw that one. But those are pretty much the only ones that I can think of right now that I really had a beef with. All right, so Toss, how about some of your favorite nonsense news?
Well, I actually have two late-breaking type of nonsense news. Did you know, and I'm not sure why, but China has banned the game Battlefield 4 because of security concerns. No,
I wasn't aware of that.
Apparently, one of the updated maps, it didn't go into detail, but they have banned it. And now I think what happened in the updated map, there is a secret formula for the latest Chinese egg rolls, and I think they don't want to share that to the world, see? But no, I don't know what's up with that. It's so bizarre. It's only a game, but they have banned it.
Maybe the powers that be are wearing the Microsoft bra too tightly.
Yeah, but it's not around their chest. Yeah.
Well, let's see. We have some from the tech industry. They have 10 tech heroes of 2013. I'm not going to read the whole list, but I'm going to read a few of the names mentioned in the list. Ed Snowden. NSA!
Oh, geez,
everybody
here we go.
Loves the NSA. Yeah, he got a number one slot here for tech heroes for, of course, exposing the NSA's mass surveillance program and that sort of thing. George Takei from Star Trek, he made the list let me see. He did a lot on Twitter and Facebook to spread the word of love and compassion and that sort of thing. Mark Shuttleworth made the number 4 slot. Even though being in the center of controversy within the open source community, they give Mark Shuttleworth that slot for sticking by his guns and sticking with his plan to continue to make Ubuntu GNU Linux one of the most user-friendly Linux distributions that are available. And some of these other names they have in here, I don't even recognize who they are, don't know, don't care.
Well, apparently on Amazon, the best-selling laptops were Chromebooks as an alternative, I guess, to everything. Of course, Chromebooks, cloud-based type of technology, but they are the best-selling, and continue to sell more choices, bigger hard drives, faster machines. So I guess congratulations to Google.
Cool deal. Yeah. And then, of course, according to ZDNet, the 5 top Linux and open source stories in 2013, one being open source software methodology goes everywhere. So more and more people are adopting open source technologies. And then, of course, you mentioned the Chromebooks, and that is number 2 in the ranking there. Steam OS, bringing mainstream Linux gaming. And I think at this point, there's close to 450 games out there right now. So, and you can't beat all the sales that the Humble Bundles and Steam has been offering. I've been able to build up my game library, so that's cool. The cloud has been getting a lot of coverage this year. And then, of course, Android rules mobile, according to this report. Away from the desktop, Linux in the form of Android already rules end user computing. So there's the top 5 from ZDNet. Yeah, some good stuff. Yep. So what do you think, guys? Do you think this is going to be, do you think 2014 is going to be the year of the Linux desktop? We'll start with you, Ironclaw.
Oh, that is an overused meme. For me, the year of the Linux desktop has been, the last several years. So I really couldn't say. For mass adoption, I guess we'll see.
What do you think about that, Matt?
Well, I've heard that a bunch of times, the year of the Linux desktop, and so far it's been yet to be seen, so we'll have to see.
What do you think, Tom?
Looks like the figures say it's the year of the Chromebook.
Yeah. How about you, Toss?
Well, I had 2 videos ready to go. One was the top Linux distros, and then the worst. I canceled the worst one because my worst list, because I thought to myself, a Windows user is going to tell you the top 10 worst Linux distros in the world. That doesn't sound right. So I thought about it, Spatry, and no, I don't think it's the year of the Linux desktop, and I'll tell you why. I think you had asked me last year, or somebody, is there a Linux OS that can completely replace my Windows desktop? And I stressed the word completely. I said no, and it continues to be impossible. It's all the little issues like, video drivers, power management. I mentioned I bought a Bluetooth dongle, got it to work in Windows, no problem. In Linux, in Ubuntu, Linux Mint, didn't work. I figured it out after 2 days of searching. Now, I certainly cannot tell a newbie to try and search the solution for 2 days. So it'll probably never will be. And, as a complete replacement for Windows for me right now, it's impossible. There are a few that come really close. Of course, we mentioned, the Linux Lights, the Ubuntus, the Linux Mints of the world, the Zorans. They come close. But someone has to take control. Someone like Ubuntu and Mark Shuttleworth and Canonical has to take control and create the definitive Ubuntu Linux desktop to mass market it. Will they do it? They probably won't, because they don't have to. They probably signed a contract with some of the cell phone manufacturers with Ubuntu Touch. I still think there's an opportunity for choice. Now, that being said, I don't want to scare away Windows users who want to switch because maybe they're sick and tired of malware and all that stuff. The only way I see where a Linux distribution can replace Windows, if you buy a pre-installed computer, brand new out of the box,
yes,
such as Ubuntu desktops. I think they're able now on the Amazon shopping site, the Mint box, Chromebooks. If you buy a machine out of the box, I expect Bluetooth to work. I expect video drivers to work. If something doesn't work, and this includes Windows, by the way, if you buy a machine out of the box and something doesn't work, you take it back. But if you want a true replacement for Windows, you buy a pre-installed Linux machine, then you have a winner.
Yeah, I think I'd have to agree with you there. Well, we've seen a lot with the Steam OS, and that happens to be my video that's getting hit pretty heavily right now on YouTube. It's getting a lot of attention. One thing that the tech world hates is change, and I think there's
Yes.
a lot of fear out there being expressed by a lot of people that are viewing the videos, the video on Steam OS. There's a lot of fear being expressed by people. There's a lot of people that really don't like the idea of Linux actually stepping up to the plate and becoming a gaming platform. A lot of people feel that it should stay with Windows and it should always stay that way. But I can see that Steam is bringing a lot of innovations to the table. They're getting the OEMs to step up to the plate and make better drivers, and anything that gets ported over to Steam OS, we're going to start seeing in the other distributions. I mean, how long did it take for a Steam client to go to Ubuntu, get all of a sudden shifted over to all the other major distributions? Every distribution that's out there now has the ability to install the Steam client within a few clicks usually. So this is a really nice thing. And I mean, just searching through the AUR, I was able to find that you can get the compositor now for the Steam OS compositor and that sort of thing. So I mean, they're going to be bringing a lot of innovations to the table. Will that be the defining moment in 2014? That remains to be seen. And as you stated, we need things to work completely out of the box. You have to have something that's going to be really easy for the end user to adopt. I figured if I can get my 70-year-old mother to use Linux, anybody can learn it. But still, Linux is not Windows. So, I mean, while there may be some familiarity for the end user, a lot of people are not tech savvy, but they'll take and they'll use what they go out and purchase. So they go out and buy that Chromebook, all right, and they find that they can't get their favorite Windows software to run on it. Obviously, they're going to take it back. But for those people that are only using a computer just to surf the internet, maybe play a few casual online games, maybe download some stuff from the Chrome store and play with that stuff, that may be a good option for them. But for the power user, I don't know yet. But but this year I'm going to be doing some tutorials on SteamOS. I'm going to show you how you can open up those repositories, install additional applications onto it, maybe even change the desktop from GNOME over to something else, and then you can get your work done in the living room when you're not gaming. I think this opens up some incredible potential for the home user. You can just buy one unit and do everything, all of your gaming, your desktop computing, everything, all in the living room. I think it's a wonderful idea. It's going to bring a lot of great innovation. So we'll have to see how this plays out. But I also have to stick by my guns on a show we had last year, Toss. When I say that I think the year of the Linux desktop came and went. It's already been here and we missed it.
Well, Walmart tried to sell a few years ago some kind of a Linux desktop, I forget, and it went nowhere because, once again, there was no quality control. Not everything worked out of the box. But I think times have changed. I think people want an alternative. Especially look at Mac computers. Aren't they a form of Linux? Some people swear by them over anything else. Well, there's your choice there.
Well, it's a form of Unix, I believe. And somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's like a Unix or a BSD type operating system.
Yeah, it's like a hybrid.
Yeah, something like that. So, yeah. Well, you got anything else, Toss?
Well, Spatry, I think I have my horse stable product of the year, and it has nothing to do with Windows or Linux.
Uh-oh, here we go, kids.
Well, I posted a video a few days about this. Maybe you saw it, but you know how I say that my Xbox handles all my gaming needs, and $60 to play for most games, it's well worth it. Except for one. I bought my son this Christmas Call of Duty Ghosts, which is fine, and Battlefield 4, which has its share of bugs. Most of them have been ironed out, but there was one bug I didn't know. Now, my son played the entire campaign. Now he jumps on multiplayer online. It seems cool. The maps look cool. So I thought, you know what? I think I'll try the campaign. So last week, I jumped on the campaign, starting at, mission number 1. Couldn't quite finish the whole thing. I'm not very good at Battlefield. I'm more the Halo guy. Anyway, after about an hour, I got tired. I figured I'll just continue tomorrow or the next day. It didn't save my progress. It doesn't save your missions. It doesn't save the levels you completed. So it's very possible to go 5 hours of playing, get tired, shut the machine off, come back, go back to square one. Now, here's the thing. Any game, whether it's a Linux game, Windows, Mac, when you have a game and your number one bug is you can't play the game, that's a big freaking problem.
Yeah, I'd say so, yeah.
So, you know what? I take it back for full refund. My son doesn't because he enjoys the multiplayer. Fine. But I'm sorry. Battlefield 4, you get the Toss Today Horse Stable Trophy of the Year.
And speaking of games, for those of you who are members of the Linux distro community and you're signed up on the forum, there will be a link in the show notes. And thanks to Armageddon, he is going to be giving away Little Inferno. So you need to pick a number between 1 and 1,000, and the number who is closest to the number that is drawn will get to win the game. And it looks like a fun little game. You get all these little pieces and stuff and little objects, and you got to burn them and that sort of thing. Looks kind of fun. I saw a video on it earlier, and yeah, so I signed up. I hope I win, and good luck to everyone who decides to get in on the drawing.
Cool.
All right, well, that's all I got. Anything else, Toss?
Thank you to everybody for another fun year. Happy holidays. For myself, the best holiday will be next year when Halo 5 comes out. Yeah.
And hopefully it'll come out on SteamOS only.
Hey.
Well, actually, it's my understanding that they may. I don't think they're going to do any exclusives per se. This is the latest rumor that I've heard. I don't think they're going to do any things that are going to be exclusive to Steam OS or anything like that. But they may be releasing some exclusives to Steam only. So if you are running Steam on Mac or Windows or Linux, you would be able to get those games.
Time will tell.
Yeah, so I understand they're going to be doing some Steam exclusives, but not operating system dependent. So that kind of makes me wonder, how are they going to sell these Steam OS units if they don't make any exclusive games there? I don't know. We'll have to see how that plays out.
There's plenty of room for the next Halo game to conquer the world. It just takes some imagination, some persistence, and you have a winner.
There you go. All right. Well, once again, thanks to everybody at the Linux distro community. Thank you, Ironclaw, Matthew Moore, Tom Prokas, and Total OS Today for joining us for the year in review. And we hope to see you all in 2014. We'll have more goodness headed your way. Thank you, all of you, once again. Happy New Year.
Say goodbye, Spatry.
Goodbye, Spatry.
Ciao.
Today's show was brought to you by the Linux Distro Community. Visit us today at linuxdistrocommunity.com and chat with us on Mumble or in IRC on the Freenode Network in the Linux Distro Community channel. The Linux Distro Community. Freedom through the sharing of knowledge.